Hello students, very good morning to all of you. We are in 7th standard and we were discussing about the topic 1 nutrition in plants. In part 1 we have discussed about the photosynthesis process, raw materials and the byproduct of photosynthesis process, right? And the plants which are green in color are called as autotrophs along with the examples we have discussed. In today's class we are going to discuss something different, that is the plants which are heterotrophs, which depend on other organisms for their food. They are called as heterotrophic plants, and something different types of plants which can eat insect, which can trap the nutrients from the insect. About that we are going to discuss in the today's class. Hope you all are ready for the class. Let us begin. Objectives of the class. Other mode of nutrition in plants. We are going to discuss the different mode of nutrition in plants. The first one is parasitic nutrition. We will understand the meaning of parasitic nutrition along with the example. Then insectivorous plants, as the name indicates that these plants eat insects. About them and their examples we are going to discuss in the class. Then saprotrophic nutrition. These are the organisms which grow on dead and decaying plant and animal products. With example we will discuss. The last one is symbiosis. Symbiotic relationship means what? As it is then completely new for you, we will discuss about this in detail. Then the last one is replenishment of nutrients in the soil. How the soil is enriched with the different types of nutrients by adding fertilizers. About that we will discuss in the class. Hope you all are ready for the class. Let's begin. The other mode of nutrition in plants. There are some plants which do not have chlorophyll. They cannot synthesize food. Like humans and animals, such plants depend on food produced by other plants. Plants which don't have chlorophyll, they find it difficult to prepare their own food. They cannot synthesize the food. So, they also depend on other plants like us and human beings and animals. So, these plants are going to be used heterotrophic mode of nutrition. Heterotrophic mode of nutrition means getting nutrients from the others. First one is parasitic plants. Do you see a yellow wiry branched structure twinning around the stem and the branches of a tree? Can you see here? It is a yellow wiry structure. It is a plant. It is in yellow color because it does not have chlorophyll. This is a plant called cascata or amarbel. It does not have chlorophyll in it. It takes ready-made food from the plant on which it is climbing. It can climb on any nearby plant. It takes food from that plant. Ready-made food it does. So, the plant on which it climbs is called the host. The green plant on which it takes support is called as a host. Since it deprives the host of valuable nutrients, cascata is called as the parasitic plant. It is called as a parasitic plant because it depends on the other plant for its nutrients. Amarbel is the another name of it. Rafflesia is also an example of parasitic plant. There are some other examples of parasitic plant which get nutrients by the parasitic mode of nutrition, like Rafflesia and crops flower. Such mode of nutrition in which organisms obtain nutrients from other organisms' body is called as parasitic nutrients. Parasitic nutrition means taking food from the other organism. Slowly it occupies the plant by climbing itself because it doesn't have a chlorophyll in them. So it is an example of parasitic plant. The next one is Insectivorous plant. The picture-like or a jug-like structure is the modified part of a leaf. See, leaves are modified into a jug-like structure. The apex of the leaf forms a lid which can open and close the mouth of the pitcher. Here, can you see the lid here? It forms a lid-like structure which can open and close. It opens, still the insect enters into it. Once the insect enters inside, it closes tightly so that it cannot escape from the pitcher. Inside the pitcher, there are hair-like structures which entangle the trapped insect. There are small hair-like structures which are present inside the pitcher which entangle the trapped insect. It does not allow the insect to go out. The lid closes and the insect is trapped inside. Lid will close immediately. The insect is killed by the juices secreted in the pitcher and its nutrients are absorbed. Its nutrients are absorbed by the juice which is present in the pitcher. Such insect-eating plants are called as insectivorous plants. Plants like Venus flytrap, Sandu, pitcher plants, they trap energy by the insects. They are very colorful and attractive. You can see here, this is the modified structure of a leaf. Here it looks like a jug-like structure, right? It has a lid which opens and closes the mouth of the pitcher. It has even hairs inside which helps to trap the insect, and that when it traps, suddenly the lid will close. So the insect cannot escape from the pitcher. Inside the pitcher there are some juices which are secreted inside, which helps to absorb the nutrients from the insect. This type of insect-eating plants are called as insectivorous plants. The first example of insectivorous plants are pitcher plant. You can see a hair-like structure and inside a juice secreted for digestion of the insect. It looks like a gel, right? That juice helps to crush and absorb the nutrients from the insect. It is very colorful because it wants to attract the insects towards them. Got it? And second example is Venus flytrap. Here leaves are modified into the shape. When the insect enters exactly the center, it locks itself, crushes inside and absorbs the nutrients from the insect. This is the second example of insectivorous plant. Let us see the third example, that is Sandu. It looks very beautiful, like a dewdrops are falling on a leaf. As soon as the insects sit on this leaf, it rolls itself, crushes the insect and absorbs all the nutrients present in the insect. This is the next type of insectivorous plants. Here insectivorous plants are nothing but the plants which are very colorful and attractive towards the insect. Leaves are modified into a different shape so that it can catch and crush the insect and hold it tightly. Okay, the plants which get nutrients from the insect are called as insectivorous plants. The third type of heterotrophic plants are saprotropes. Saprotropes are the organisms which grow on dead and decaying plant and animal products. You might have seen packets of mushrooms sold in the vegetable market. You may also have seen fluffy umbrella-like patches growing in moist soil or on rotting wood during the rainy season. They are called as saprophytic organisms. Can you see here mushroom growing on a moist soil? They get nutrients from the dead and decaying part of the plants. These are the organisms. They are called as fungi. They have a different mode of nutrition. They absorb the nutrients from bread. This mode of nutrition, which organisms take nutrients from dead and decaying matter, is called saprophytic nutrition. Such organisms with the saprotropic mode of nutrition are called as saprotropes. Fungi also grows on pickles, leather, cloth, and other articles that are left in a hot and humid weather for a long time. During winter or during summer, for a long time, if we keep it aside, fungus can grow and occupy the place on them. The fungal spores are generally present in air. When they land on wet and warm things, they germinate and start to grow. You can see the example of bread mold here. Slowly the fungus is growing and occupied the whole bread itself. This mode of nutrition is called as saprophytic mode of nutrition, and such organisms are called as saprotropes. Example for saprotropes are mushroom and fungus. Some organisms live together and share both shelter and nutrients. This relationship is called as symbiosis. The fourth method of getting nutrients from the other plants or other organism is called as symbiotic relationship. Here these organisms live together, both take help of each other, both shelter and nutrients. This relationship is called as symbiosis. For example, certain fungi live inside the root of plant. The plant provides nutrient to the fungus, and in return the fungus provide water and certain nutrient to the plant root. Fungus helps to provide the water and nutrient to the plant root, whereas the plant root gives the food for the fungus. So both are helping each other. This relationship is called as symbiosis, and the way of getting nutrient by this method is called as symbiotic nutrition. In organisms called lichens, a chlorophyll containing partner, you can see here chlorophyll containing partner, which is an alga and fungus, live together. The fungus provides shelter, water and mineral to the alga. In return, the alga prepares and provides food for the fungus. Here, one partner is containing the chlorophyll, that is alga. If the partner has a chlorophyll, it can prepare the food by the way of photosynthesis. Whereas the another partner gives shelter, water and mineral to the alga. Fungus gives shelter, water and mineral to the alga, whereas in return alga prepares the food and give it to the fungus. Both are helping each other. This way of relationship is called as symbiotic relationship. Mode of nutrition in plant. First one is autotrophs and the second one is heterotrophs. As we discussed in the part 1, autotrophs are the plants which have chlorophyll in them and prepare their own food by using the raw materials like water, mineral, carbon dioxide and with the help of sunlight. They are called as autotrophs. They get nourishment themselves. Whereas the second set of plants are called as heterotrophs. Heteros means others. Tropes means nourishment. They get nourishment by the other organisms. There are four different ways of heterotrophs. First one is insectivorous, second one is parasites, third one is symbiotic, and the last one is saprotrophic nutrition. See, insectivorous plants get nutrients from insects. They get nutrients from the insect. Whereas parasitic plants, the non-green plant, depend completely on the green plant for the nourishment. The symbiotic relationship in which the two organisms help each other for the getting nutrients, whereas in lichen, fungus gives shelter, water and mineral, whereas alga has the chlorophyll in it, so it gives food for the fungus. Like that, mutual helping is called as symbiotic mode of nutrients. Then last one is saprotrophic. Saprotrophic are the organisms which get nutrients from the dead and decaying plants. These are the different mode of nutrition in plants. Then let us discuss about how the nutrients are replenished in the soil. As the plant keep on using the nutrients from the soil for the preparation of food and for the growth and to repair the damaged parts, the amount of nutrients present in the soil is going to be decreased, right? You have learned that plants absorb minerals and nutrients from the soil. So, their amount in the soil keep on declining, means decreasing. Fertilizers and manures contain nutrients such as nitrogen, potassium, phosphorus, etc. These nutrients need to be added from the time to time to enrich the soil. It should be added time to time so that it can enrich the soil. We can grow plants and keep them healthy if we can fulfill the nutrient requirement of the plants. As we eat every day, in the same way plants also need to enrich the soil after every period of interval. Time to time, if we give the nutrients, the plant can grow healthy and get all the types of nutrients in the plants. So here you can see an example of fertilizing the plants. Spraying fertilizer. Even we need to spray the pesticides also. Pesticides, insecticides too, which can protect the plants from insects. Usually crop plants absorb a lot of nitrogen and the soil becomes deficient in nitrogen. You learned that though nitrogen gas is available in plenty in the air, plant cannot use it the manner they can use carbon dioxide. Already we know that about 78% of nitrogen is present in the atmosphere. Plant cannot use it directly from the atmosphere. As they use carbon dioxide and oxygen, nitrogen they are not going to use it. So they need nitrogen in a soluble form, in dissolved form they need. Hence, addition of fertilizer and manure enriches the soil. The bacterium called rhizobium can take atmospheric nitrogen and convert it into a usable form. But rhizobium cannot make its own food. So, it often lives in the roots of gram, peas, mung, beans and other leguminous and provide them with the nitrogen. Here the rhizobium bacteria has a capacity to convert the atmospheric nitrogen into a soluble form of the nitrogen which can stay in the root of leguminous plant. Leguminous plant means all the pulses plant like grams, peas, mung, beans and others. So it takes shelter from the root and convert the atmospheric nitrogen into a soluble form of nitrogen. Then plant give nitrogen to the plant and get food from the plant. In return, the plant provide food and shelter to the bacteria. It is also again the example of symbiotic relationship. They thus have a symbiotic relationship. What happens? Rhizobium bacteria helps to convert the atmospheric nitrogen into soluble form of nitrogen, which is going to be used by the plant to prepare the food. So, plant gives shelter for the rhizobium bacteria and food to stay from the plant. This type of relationship is called as symbiotic relationship. This association is of great significance of the farmers. They can reduce the use of nitrogenous fertilizer where leguminous plant can grow. If we add too much of chemical fertilizers, it may affect on the plant's growth also after many years, and even the soil become barren. Most of the pulses are obtained from the leguminous plants. Okay, so these leguminous plants have one advantage. Instead of adding chemical fertilizer externally, they allow the rhizobium bacteria to stay in them so that it can convert the atmospheric nitrogen into the useful form. In return, it provides food for the rhizobium bacteria. In this chapter, you have learned that most of the plants are autotrophs and only a few plants are parasitic or saprotrophic. They derive nutrients from the other organisms. All animals are categorized as heterotrophs since they depend on the plants and animals for their food. Let us see the summary of the topic. Plants like Cascata are parasites. They take food from the host plant. Here host plant has a chlorophyll in them so that it can prepare the photosynthesis. So these parasitic plants get nutrients directly from the host plant. Plants use simple chemical substances like carbon dioxide, water and mineral for the synthesis of food. Chlorophyll, water, carbon dioxide and sunlight are the essential requirements of photosynthesis. Complex chemical substances such as carbohydrates are the products of photosynthesis. The product of photosynthesis are carbohydrate and water and oxygen. The solar energy is absorbed by the chlorophyll present in the leaves and plants and convert the solar energy into chemical. Oxygen is produced during photosynthesis, and the oxygen released in the photosynthesis is utilized by living organisms for their survival. Many fungi derive nutrition from dead and decaying matter. They are called as saprotropes. A few plants and animals are dependent on other for their nutrition are called as heterotrophs. Okay students, this is all of the today's class. We have discussed about the photosynthesis process, about autotrophs with examples, heterotrophs, different types of heterotrophs like parasitic, saprotropic, insectivorous, symbiotic relationship, their definitions with examples, then how the soil is replenished with the nutrients with the help of rhizobium bacteria. Right, all these things we have discussed in the class. Hope you understood all the concepts. Thank you students. Take care. Bye bye.